But if I would have heard what he said in the barbershop thing with LeBron before the season, and I predicted Buccaneers Chiefs, okay?
Yep.
But I would have maybe put a substantial amount on the Buccaneers' future Super Bowl to win. I had no idea that there was a team that was interested in Tom Brady until the very end, and then said, nah, and made Tom Brady. Now, who knows how it actually went down? Jordan, Utah coach. Who knows how this actually went down? Tom Brady got so much emotional rush out of this team dropping out that he turned it into another chip on top of getting kicked out of New England, on top of he's got to be better than Bill Belichick, on top of whose legacy is it for the greatness? Is it Tom or is it Bill's? On top of all of that, now there's some other NFL team that we do not know. People are saying it's maybe the Rams, which I don't know. Maybe. People are saying maybe it's the Bears.
Ooh.
I guess the Bears are being mentioned in this entire thing. And is that Nick Foles then yet again? Because Nick Foles in the Eagles, by the way, catches touchdown in game against Patriots where Tom dropped it. Tom allegedly won't go shake Nick Foles' hand. COVID protocols, by the way.
Right.
So we're not 100% sure, although he did shake other hands. Maybe he was told he could shake other hands. Him and Nick Foles don't. Is that because Nick Foles goes up there and the Bears were in conversation and they say, no, we're going to stick with Foles and Mitchell Trubisky? Is that who he's saying? You're going to stick with that motherfucker? Which is what he said on the barbershop, which is coming up. I cannot wait to watch it, by the way. That episode's going to be unbelievable. I really enjoy that series, by the way. But that's going to be, was it the Colts? And did he hear that we were talking to Phillip Rivers? And then that's why at the end, whenever the Colts dropped out, you're going to stick with that mother? Who was it? Because I would like to know, and the internet is guessing, and everybody has an answer. I have no idea who it is. Is it the Niners?
Yeah.
That's
Maybe.
what you think?
Well, I mean, that was his number one choice, right? And keep in mind, this is after, Jimmy G overthrew in the Super Bowl. So Brady, in his mind, probably like, hey, you're going to stick with the guy who kind of lost you the game, essentially, or you're going to, go with me, who's been to 9 and has won 6, now 7.
Hey, by the way, if it is the Niners, which makes a lot of sense, it makes more sense than the Colts, because he would have to know that we're trying to get the Phillip Rivers, and then he would have to react to Phillip Rivers. And for the Bears, I mean, they had a quarterback competition, so who knows who it would be unless, who knows who it would be. I don't think it's the Bears, because that was 2 quarterbacks then instead of, so he would say those motherfuckers as opposed to that motherfucker. And if you go back to the Rams, I guess maybe could be the Rams. I don't know how the Rams got into this conversation, because I thought the Chargers.
That's the one I read, was that it was the Chargers too, and it wouldn't be them because that was right before they drafted Herbert. So
it has to be the Niners is what seems like the obvious thing, which, by the way, our first guess, I think, yesterday was, that Jimmy G? And then the internet went 100 different ways yesterday. And I heard compelling arguments for all of them. Niners still make the most sense, though.
Yeah.
Jimmy G, though, hearing Tom say that motherfucker, when I think they have the same agent.
Yeah.
I think, like a lot of people say Jimmy G was good because he was under Tom Brady's tutelage for a while. Does Tom hate Jimmy G? And is that really the reason why everything blew up there? Because Tom wanted him gone.
Yeah.
Bill wanted him kept. I mean, these are all the things that you can kind of go on June 22nd when there's nothing else to talk about. And you see a 6-second clip from Tom Brady looking incredibly handsome saying, you're going to go with that motherfucker? Because, by the way, what is that conversation? Is that about golf?
Yeah.
Do we know?
Could be.
You know what I mean? So we have no idea, but Niners seems to make the most sense.
Rap sheet, a clip from the shop came out with Brady saying, you're sticking with that motherfucker, talking about some quarterback. And then Dan Patrick reported this morning that the Bears were one of the finalists. We were trying to figure out if he was talking about Nick Foles, if he was talking about Jimmy G with the 49ers. Have you heard anything on who Brady might be talking about in that clip, and if the Bears were really that close to getting him?
I don't think it was the Bears, because my understanding of the Bears situation was they were interested in Brady and he kind of didn't want to play in the cold and just wasn't like, I don't think the Bears were one of his really down to it finalists. And they definitely didn't stick with Trubisky over Brady. They wanted Brady and he ended up signing in Tampa. So I don't think it's the Bears. I don't know. I don't know the answer. I think it's amazing that that show is really good. Obviously, my second favorite sort of internet screen-based show, besides This one, obviously.
No, this show's not better than The Shop, but I appreciate you lying like that.
Is it not?
No, now we have
bad.
to take into question everything you say after that statement, but go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish that.
I have not watched a ton of that show, but I will probably watch it this time. What?
How the hell do you know?
Out of his ass.
What?
What do you just see the clips? Is that how you say you watch it?
Yeah, I see the clips.
Okay, yeah, you sound like me too. Yeah, I do a lot of that. But I actually watch that show because you're getting super high level people talking with other high level people. They're comfortable. It's normally great. And the Tom Brady Howard Stern interview was unbelievable. And I hope this time it is also great. Do you think though that was about another team? You're thinking it's the Niners as well. It sounds like.
I kind of don't think it's the Niners. I mean, the language he used, sticking with him, makes me kind of think that it was someone who had already been a starting quarterback for that team, so maybe that's Jimmy. My immediate thought was the Colts.
Oh,
because they basically chose Rivers. And even though, like, you know, they weren't sticking with him, they had just signed him, but, like, Rivers was clearly on the downside.
All right.
And also, Brady likes Jimmy G. So I would be a little surprised. I'm you know, who knows? But you could say this kind of thing about your friends, but I'd be a little surprised if it was someone he really likes, like Jimmy G.
What? Okay, so what you just said there, maybe he wasn't talking about Phil Rivers, but he would have had to been introduced to the Colts' interest to Phil Rivers at some point, and then he would have had to say, I'm interested. And then Chris would have said, oh, okay, let's have a conversation. Let's talk. And then at some point, if what you're saying is right. If what you're saying is right, let's talk. And then all of a sudden Chris goes, you know what? Hey, that was a good time. Well, we're going to go a different direction. And then he
well, I think a lot of people knew. I mean, didn't we all know at that point that Rivers was going to the Colts? Like, it seems like a million years ago, but I felt like we knew that was kind of going to happen probably like in February, right?
Just like Carson.
You must have known.
Yep.
Yeah, I did know, but I also found out later that we potentially picked Phil Rivers over Tom Brady, and I want to let you know my reaction was exactly how it is now. I did not know that was as real as it is now. I heard glowing reviews about Phil Rivers as a human, as a teammate, as quarterback, everything like that. That's amazing. I love Phil. I love how competitive he is. Hey, dadgum, he cracks me up. All right? Like, I love every fudging thing. He was a great interview on here. But, man, Tom Brady's available. And then this year, guess what? Julio Jones was available. I assume maybe Julio is trying everything. And then Gronk would have been here. And then Antonio Brown would have been here. With that defense and T.Y., Jonathan Taylor in the backfield alongside Mac and everybody else. I mean, it's a little frustrating when you say shit like that, Rap, but you've been talking out of your ass all day, so I don't know what's real and what isn't. You know what I mean?
That's fair. I'll watch The Shop. I'll go back. I'll look. I mean, it seems like a good show. It's just, you know, we got a lot of things going. I'm still trying to make it through Breaking Bad, okay? I'm just finished season 2. So.